It's a good Ag AM in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, Dr. Chris Blevins talks about the important role veterinarians play at a rodeo. And Dr. Dan Fries offers tips to avoid fatigued cattle syndrome. Next, Ignacio MPT tells us about the KSU soybean yield calculator. And Brad Forrester with U.S. Foods discusses the challenges of supplying schools, restaurants, and hospitals with fresh food no matter what the season. We'll end with a 4-H Files story from the Wabaunsee County Fair. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hello and welcome to Horse and Round. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center today at Dodge City for the Roundup Rodeo that they have every year. What does a veterinarian do at a rodeo? There's multi-facets to it. One is, and probably what you'll hear by the rodeo announcer, is the aspect of being the EMTs for the animals. And so for emergency situations within the arena, we're there to stabilize that animal so it can either go to another facility or we can stabilize it and help it out right here at the rodeo arena. So fractures, anything that would cause neurologic issues, they can hurt themselves in different aspects within. Trauma is probably the biggest thing during the rodeo that we're watching for of the animals and making sure they stay safe. Before the rodeo, veterinarians, they kind of play an important role in making sure the arena is ready. There's safety aspects of the rodeo that try to prevent problems of the animals during the rodeo. And then in between some of the events of the rodeo, a lot of times, especially here at Dodge City, we help the contestant horses if they need help with different things. One being, like if they get an ulcer in their eye, they're colicking, the horse is colicking, they have a lameness they want a veterinarian to look at. The other aspects, they have a coughing horse. So there's multiple things that even veterinarians can do even in between the events of these horses. You have to remember that most horses, when they're coming here, they're going directly to another rodeo right after here. So it's fairly intense for them, and trying to visit or having a veterinarian available during those times sure helps them, and it helps the patients or their animals in between those type of events. The other type of animals that are here are obviously all the rough stock and the rough stock contractors that they have. There's pickup men horses, there's rough stock bucking horses, bull riding type bulls, there's the steers, there's the calves, there's even the sheep for the mutton busting. So all those species are examined or treated by veterinarians or the veterinarian at the rodeo. So again, there's those things too. Biosecurity is the other thing that veterinarians would do at a rodeo. So preventing disease from coming in a high populated area of animals, or even leaving if a disease an outbreak happens of anything within rodeo grounds. One, for example, would be vesicular stomatitis, or VS, and so we're always kind of keeping an eye out for that at rodeos, making sure that if there is any issues, we call the state veterinarian. But again, the veterinarian that's at the rodeo is kind of the first on the scenes that gets things monitored and situated for those kind of aspects. I think if you ever have any other questions or at a rodeo, come over and see the veterinarian. Ask them questions if you ever have any questions for them and what they do at the rodeos, or just to say hi to the veterinarian, because they're always usually there. They're always required at every PRCA rodeo, and they're there for the animals. If you do have any questions even at Kansas State, give us a call at Kansas State University, and you can sure talk to me or any other faculty member that's on the equine department about rodeos or about horses. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and I'll see you around.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome to Ag AM in Kansas. We're here at Oberlin at the Gateway Center for the 4th annual Production Animal Consultation PAC Summit meeting. We bring producers in, managers, veterinarians, crew leaders to help educate them today and give them some valuable information. And today we've got Dr. Dan Fries here with us as one of our presenters. And so with that, Dr. Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a farm and feedlot kid from central Nebraska. I went to the University of Nebraska for my bachelor's. I'm a veterinarian of 12 years and returned back to K-State 4 years ago to work on my PhD, which I'm about wrapped up.
We're always glad to get a Nebraskan down to Kansas. You think so?
Well, you could use the
we could use the help. So as one of the speakers today, tell us a little bit about your topic today.
Well, today I talked about fatigue cattle syndrome and some of the events that happen or can happen with poor cattle handling immediately prior to loading fat cattle onto a truck prior to shipment. So and how that generates.
With that in mind, you know, as we deal with heat stress and feeding fat cattle and the potential fatigue cattle syndrome, give us 2 or 3 things that really come to your top of mind quickly in terms of, for people that feed cattle, something they can manage or better do to help prevent these sort of issues that we may see.
Well, with what we saw in our study, we did a study where we ran cattle and we walked cattle, and the cattle that walked, we didn't really see any issues with. So I think one of the main things that we can bring home is low stress handling, use of a lead rider as we're moving these animals long distances from the far end of large yards to loadouts, and just making sure we handle these cattle in a calm, low stress manner.
Yeah, minimizing movement of these cattle, especially fat cattle, is key, and especially minimizing movement this time of year when it's summer and the heat of the day. I agree, those are 2 key parts. So with that, coming from Nebraska down to Kansas, are you still go Big Red, or are you a fan of the best coach in college football, Bill Snyder?
Well, I'm a fan of both, actually. I've got a love for Nebraska. You grew up with Nebraska, you love Nebraska football, but I've got now going to have a couple degrees from K-State, and I've spent a good time in Manhattan, and I've always enjoyed it, and K-State's got a great team.
The best part is we've gotten some of his money. With that, thanks to Ag AM in Kansas, and thanks for being a great Kansan.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results with stem cell injections, but at about 3 to 3.5 months, I started to feel better. I started to have less pain and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Well, good morning, folks. My name is Dr. Nancy MPT. I'm a row crops state cropping system specialist in crop production at K-State Department of Agronomy. Today I would like to talk and introduce the new concept of how to estimate soybean yields before harvest. So here we have a new kind of a way to communicate and to extend information to farmers, crop consultants, and agronomists. Couple years ago, we started to talk about with some people about how to make estimates in soybean yields before harvest. And one of the really hard parts on doing estimates on soybeans is really to try to get, accounts of plants, counts of pod per plant, and then finally counts of seeds per pod. And then the unknown factor before the end of the season is the seed weight. So one of the things that we decided to do is, in order to really facilitate and help farmers to do the yield estimations, is to come up to a mobile device app that is Android native, so we can use it, and it's free to download in the Google Play. And the app basically is just dealing with 4 components on the yield estimations. First one is stand counts, basically knowing how many plants we have in the field. A second component is related to knowing how many pods we have per plant. So we are doing some counts of pods per plant. Third component is knowing the seeds per pod. And then a final component, which is the unknown factor, is the seed weight. And most of the times when we are thinking about when is the right moment to do soybean yield estimations, we need to wait at least until late August, early September, when those soybeans are getting into the pod formation stage. When we have those pods already formed, it's the right moment that we can go out and take those estimations. A quick question that people and farmers usually have is, okay, what is the relevancy or what is the practicality of really having those estimates? And I think that there are a couple points. The first one is, it's a really good thing just to go out and make sure that we scout our fields. A second one is related to the idea of establish a baseline, knowing exactly what is the yield potential on soybeans. And number 3, and I think that is not minor, is knowing your yield potential will also help you to make decisions. So practices, inputs. When we are thinking about making a yield estimation late reproductive, if I'm seeing that my yield potential is low, I can probably not really seek the use of inputs. If I'm seeing my yield potential is high, then I want to protect that leaf canopy. And I want to apply maybe some any kind of thing, if disease or insects are present, like a fungicides or insecticides applications, in order really to protect the canopy. So again, if you really are looking to do some yield, estimations and predictions before harvest for soybean, just check this app. It's called KSU Soy Yield Calc. So it's KSU Soy Yield Calc. And it's a very simple calculator. It's only one screen. Farmers can go out to the field. They can estimate how many plants they have in 21 inches. They can count pods per plant, they can estimate seeds per pod, and then just estimate the seed weight. So it's a very simple app, one screen, and it's free, and they can find that in the Google App website.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher. Get the new hired hand for yourself or become a distributor. Visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hello, I'm Sam Capone, and today we're at the American Royal in Kansas City, and we're at the Our Town, Our Food Conference. Tell me a little bit about your company, U.S. Foods, and what you guys do, and a little bit about your speech today.
Well, there was a discussion, a panel about supply. A lot of the folks that were in the room are direct sellers to the public through grocery stores, through their own stores. For U.S. Foods, we're the person in between. We're the price chopper to the restaurant industry in Kansas City. So we're bringing anything and everything that it takes to run a restaurant, run a school, run a hospital, food service. That's really our position. And so we'll have 70 trucks in Kansas City on any given day, and taking care of a couple thousand customers in the metro area.
Now, local is a great hub because they can kind of supply the stuff that they have throughout their season. But why are you guys important for when the locals aren't supplying?
Well, tomatoes don't come from Kansas in March or January. So many vegetables have year-round demand. And so be it from California, be it from Florida, Mexico, even hothouses in Canada, that the demand is still there. 100 years ago, no one thought about eating tomatoes except out of a can or out of a jar in January. Well, now we're also spoiled, so the worldwide food supply, and especially the nationwide food supply, keeps everybody's menus looking relatively similar, be it January or July. We, especially for things like seafood, we are sourcing where it's sustainable anywhere that we can get that supply. Most of the shrimp that's consumed in the United States is a complete reverse of what it was 30 years ago. The shrimping industry of the Gulf and to a certain point to Mexico supplied all the shrimp, but the consumption has continued to increase, and the Gulf shrimpers are still very much in business, but yet most of the shrimp that's consumed in the United States, a large proportion comes from Asia, from India.
So what are some challenges you've seen with the larger scale, supplying the demand?
Getting it here.
Getting it here.
Getting it here, getting it inspected on the other end, getting it on a boat, getting it through customs.
Because you kind of mentioned during your speech the gas prices are kind of what drove the local campaign.
It made local really sustainable quickly because it just cost more money to move a truckload of anything outside a 200-mile radius. And there's still a lot of things that still come from the parts of the nation that do that item best. You're never going to probably have a local lettuce industry ever develop in Kansas and Missouri because it's so much better accomplished in the San Joaquin Valley until they have the water to do it. And the water crisis in California now is even changing how that supply works and how we get lettuce here in this part of the world.
So finally, you touched a little bit on the regulations that you've changed with school districts and the food that you send to these school districts. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
We had quite a challenge a year ago. There was some school nutrition regs that came down nationally, and we adapted, and the schools adapted for it, and the products, the kids didn't want to eat them, is a nice way to put it. We all dealt with that and adjusted, and this year it's changed again. I think for the better. It's been easier to make the school nutrition programs work and have predictable supply, and on their side, predictable demand.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back with Ag AM in Kansas.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, my name is Jalen Davis and I'm part of the Maple Hill Hustlers 4-H Club. I exhibited pigs, cattle, biomanship, foods, and photography. We're here at the Wabunsee County Fair and we're about to hear from some other exhibitors.
Hi, my name is Carol Flock. We're here at the Wabunsee County Fair, and this is my 11th year in 4-H and my last year. I've done everything from photography to sheep to pigs. I brought 2 wethers to the county fair this year, one weighing 120 and one weighing 152. I feed my sheep 2 scoops of Honor show feed every morning and night. I water them and keep a fan on them to keep them cool during the day. And I shear them a few days before the fair. I also try to walk them every night. My 152 wether won the county fair. This is my 3rd year in a row winning the county fair. This is my last year in 4-H, and I encourage all youth to get involved in this organization as it keeps you responsible and it teaches you a good work ethic.
My name's Mandy Michaelis, and I'm from Paxico, Kansas. I'm part of the Newberry 4-H Club, and I'm here at the Wabunsee County Fair. I've been in 4-H for 12 years now. I've showed pigs, cattle, done photography, sewing, cooking, and many other things. This year I have a steer and a heifer. After the fair, I'll take my heifer home and put her back into our herd to breed her. My steer will be taken on to the processing plant. Prior to the fair, I'd wake up every morning and feed them, put them underneath the fans for a while, and then take them out and rinse them. At night, we feed them and then turn them out so they can go eat some green grass. Being in 4-H has taught me some lifelong lessons.
My name is Brett Michaelis. I'm from Paxico, Kansas, and I'm in the Newberry 4-H Club. I have been in 4-H for 9 years, and I do anything from photography, cooking, beef, and this is my 2nd year in goats. I want to do goats because I want to learn a different species to show. It's something different I could do, and I've had the privilege of having Grand Champion goat for 2 years going. I take care of my goats by going out in the morning and feeding them. I feed them show chow purina. To get them for the county fair, I walk them quite often so they are ready for the show ring, and then I clip them and then I rinse them every once in a while. I really enjoy 4-H, and I have quite a few more years left to do it, and I really encourage young kids to get involved with it.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.